If you are new here, it is the month of October, meaning it's the season for Inktober, which is an optional social media challenge where artists create ink drawings every day. So 31 days in October means 31 drawings. This year, I am torturing myself, recreating 5 manga double spreads once a week for manga series I have read and loved before. Previously, I recreated these spreads from Fullmetal Alchemist and Inuyasha. So in the spirit of selecting from mangas I have thoroughly enjoyed, this week I will be recreating a page from, drumroll, One Piece. I'm gonna get started on sketch here just so I won't delay the art stuff any longer. So as per usual, I will be drawing on Deleter brand manga manuscript paper and sketching with this nifty but mighty pilot color Eno pencil in blue. The blue lead here is photocopy friendly and erases very easily. I will be drawing this panel over here. Look at those speed lines. This double spread is from the very first chapter when Luffy first shows the Gomu Gomu Pistol's ability to the readers for the first time. It might be hard to see with the blue pencil lines here, but I will approach the sketch by drawing in Luffy and the sea serpent first before adding all of those jazzy speed lines and sound effects and ocean waves and boat. So admittedly, I did not grow up reading One Piece like I have done with Fullmetal Alchemist and Inuyasha. But many years ago, there was once a time when Shonen Jump had 3 flagship manga series running at the same time. This was called the Big 3, so that included mangas like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. As a manga enjoyer and a young kid at the time when this thing was happening, readers were quite passionate. They would pick one of the 3 series that they liked the most and then debate on an online forums and to their friends at school which manga series was the best. And I was sadly not on Team One Piece at the time. I was actually on Team Bleach. But also because One Piece would air on television when it was my scheduled homework time, and Bleach would air during my free time. So that's also why I was leaning toward that series instead. Now even back then, One Piece was the oldest series. It started long before Naruto and Bleach. But nowadays, both Bleach and Naruto have long concluded. And One Piece is still running today at over 1,160 chapters. Holy! So once upon a time in 2019, I was a slightly younger buck, but I was also fun employed. So after a full day of sending out job applications aimlessly, I decided that starting One Piece was a wonderful use of my time. And then I binge read every single chapter and caught up like it was my full-time job. So for that, One Piece was my entire personality during that time in my life, and now I look at that series fondly. So much that even today I still collect One Piece stationery, standees, prints, and even Hobonichi planners. Look at that. I've always loved the shonen genre and action scene, but what made One Piece my favorite series in recent years is the perfect mix of world building, well-developed characters, Oda's ability to never rushing or forgetting an important plot point, and just wanting to cheer for the Straw Hat Pirate. So anyways, we're just about almost done with this insane sketch. I'll need to add a good chunk of those bead lines here before inking, so gonna get to it. Oh geez, I gotta stretch out these hands before tackling these lines. Side note, it is important to stretch often and rest your hands whenever they feel like cramping up on you. The previous video, my hands definitely needed a long break, so much that I ended up taking 3 whole days off of drawing, which is important. So for inking, we will be using this Kuretake Zig black ink. Any black cartoonist ink is suitable for the job, but this is just what I have on hand. And then I will be using this G pen over here. The nibs help achieve line precision, and the bounciness allows me to add a variety of line weight. I'll use this G pen to draw in Luffy and the Sea Serpent, and then I'll decide later on which fine line pen I'll use for the speed line. I'm equally excited and terrified of inking, but I know it's just gonna pay off in the end. So like in my previous video, I'm going to ink from left to right because I'm right-handed and it gives me structure on what to draw next instead of bouncing everywhere. Also just to prevent smearing from the back of my palm. Also go ahead and outline parts of the waves and the sound effects along with the characters here. As you can see, inking with a G pen is tedious and you'll need to be confident and precise in your line work. Two qualities I'm currently working at since I'm naturally shaking and not so confident with my line. But just because something is hard doesn't mean you can't try. It's also good to feel uncomfortable trying something out of your comfort zone because that means there's a chance for you to learn something new. So the first phase of inking will be the outlines of every element, and then the second phase will be the effect lines. Pretty simple. So let's just dive in. Whew! So much progress and still so much work to do. Now that the characters of these outlines are done, I'm even more excited to fill this up with speedline. But first, I need to grab a little snack to eat and get out of the house for some fresh air. Okay, so to approach these speedlines, you will notice how much of them all go towards the impact of the punch, kind of more towards the sea serpent upper mouth. So I am going to put the vanishing point here, boop, and take this handy ruler and draw out some of the guiding line. Plenty of them, but not all of them because this is so I can freehand it between each line that was drawn with the ruler. No way I'm gonna use the ruler for every single line because that's just gonna take forever and yeah girl does not have time for that. And to eliminate the risk of spilling ink or smearing, I will be using the 0.5 Sakura micro pen. It's thicker than usual, but Oda's line work is a little bit thicker than the other manga artists I've drawn from in the past. So I will try my best to maintain the energy from the original work, so wish me luck! Ta-da! The drawing is done! That was painful, but so worth it. While the original double spread did not use green tones at all, and it did rely on a lot of effect lines, so the challenging part was capturing the feel of that punch just from lines alone. One Piece has very charming characters and impactful action scenes, so when Oda's art style seemed easy to copy on the surface, the energy from panel to panel and the way he portrays the world on paper is just what makes his art style so uniquely his. As a pure manga reader of the series, I think you should give a manga a shot. Just always read at your own pace and no need to rush it. Also, I think the Netflix series does a pretty good job capturing most of the plot, though some diehard fans may think differently, but I personally thought it was still a fun time. And that, my friends, marks the end of this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Keep drawing, and I'll see you in the next one. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye!